Hi there again, this is Anson Garcia with Verizon, and today we're going to take a look at Cisco's Webex Meetings BOT for Microsoft Teams. Boy, that's a mouthful. Cisco says they're building bridges. Let's take a look how they're doing it with this bot. Follow me over to the whiteboard. Let's check out what we're going to do today.
Okay, what we're going to be covering today is we have Webex out here. Let's call it Webex Meeting Center. And we have Microsoft Teams out here, okay? Both software as a service. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to have the app on our desktop. We're going to have the app on our mobile. And when I say app, I mean the MS Teams app, both on this guy and this guy, okay? Both on these two entities right here. And in here, we're going to be doing teams and channels and things like that. And within one of these channels, what we're going to do, what we want is a join button. And that join button, we also want that on our mobile. So we want a join button right there inside our message conversation to make it easy to join and launch a WebEx meeting. We are not going to use the Microsoft Teams meetings. Maybe we have investments in audio, video, or Cisco audio and video telephony. Maybe we have Cisco room systems and telepresence systems, and we want to leverage that. We feel, or this customer maybe feels, that the Cisco WebEx experience is superior, and they want to keep that infrastructure in place, and they want to bring that into the Microsoft Teams realm. So let's get started. Let's see how this is going to work. Okay, let's get to it. Let's figure out how this Cisco WebEx Meetings bot works and what it's all about in Microsoft Teams. So the first thing I want to take you to is the admin center, the 365 admin center. I want to do that first because there's a couple of things in there that we need to deploy third-party bots, okay? So I'm going to go to my admin center in 365, and I'm going to go not to Teams and Skype admin center, but I'm going to go to my main settings and services and add-ins. And the reason I'm doing this is because not everything has been ported over to the Teams, Skype and Teams admin portal yet. Okay, so we go to services and add-ins, and then I'm going to go down and I'm going to find Teams. There it is. I thought there it is right there. I'm going to go into the settings for this, and it tells me here that these things are going to be ported over to Skype and Teams portal soon. But I want to go into apps here. And why I'm going into here is because when you add bots to Microsoft Teams, you have to allow those bots to be able to be loaded up, or what they call external apps, or what they call side loading. Okay, and I'll explain that just in a second. That's beyond the scope of a lot of the WebEx Team stuff, but it's important. I'm trying to make this a comprehensive talk on WebEx Teams bot for Microsoft Teams. So the default apps. Okay, this is Microsoft stuff. These are bots and integrations that are able to go into Microsoft Teams. And then we have this external apps. What are external apps? External apps are anybody that creates a bot and puts it into the Microsoft Store. Just like we have a App Store on our iOS devices, just like we have a Play Store on our Android devices, just like we have a Microsoft Store if you have Windows 10, we have a store inside Microsoft Teams, and we need to allow external apps into Microsoft Teams. So we have to allow that bot. Okay, now best practice is to turn off um, or to only turn on the applications or the bots that you want. And you can see here, I have all mine chosen here, okay? And it just for your information, just so it doesn't throw you off, side loading of external apps. External apps, again, are things that are put in the store. Side loading of external apps are things that aren't in the store, things that you're going to add to your channels that are outside the store. You know, maybe you want on your desktop, you're testing an app that you're developing and stuff like that. You haven't published it to the Microsoft Teams store yet. That's what this external or side loading is for. Okay, so we go down to allow external. These are external, and if I go down to Cisco Webex, okay, I want to make sure that's checked. Again, I have a lab environment. I have everything turned on because I start working. I want all the bots there, just in case I want to test one or something like that. Okay, so we have to have that on. We're good. As far as the admin center, that's all that we need. Let's go back and go into our Microsoft Teams application. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, and there's several ways to get to this, I'm going to show you what typically you see on training videos as far as adding apps or bots to a channel. First thing I'm going to do, I want to go to the team, and I want to go to the channel that I want to add this bot to. Okay, and I created a team, Anson's Lab Demo team here, and I have a few channels under there, one of which is Webex Meetings Demo. So that's where I want to add this Cisco Webex Meetings bot to. So what I do is I'm going to click on those three periods right there, and I'm going to go to Manage Team. And what I'm going to go to is this Apps tab right here, and I'm going to want to add to this channel. So I go to my store, right over here to the right. It's going to bring up all my apps and bots and integrations in here. And what I want to do is I want to search. I can search for Cisco. How's that? And there we are. There is the Cisco Webex Meetings bot that is already published to the Microsoft Teams store, App Store. So let's go ahead and choose that. And it gives me two things here. And this was a little hard to figure out, but what this top portion is here, it's going to add a one-to-one chat, so you can chat with this bot. And one-to-one chats, remember, are not in a team or channel, okay? So if they're not in a team or channel, then it's just a one-to-one chat. So you'll have a chat bot that you can chat with, and then that chat bot you can ask questions to, and I'll show you that in a second. More interesting, or what we really want to do, is add to a team. Right? So we're going to add this Cisco Webex Meetings bot to a team. And if you see here, this one says chat with a bot to ask questions and send rich content into the conversation. And this one says the same thing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and install this. Okay, the first thing you're going to see is we should get an indication back here. There it is. If you see here, the one-to-one chat already started. So the chat already chatted with me and gave me some information. And that was the first thing on the prior screen. That was the top part. Okay, we're continuing to the bottom part, which was adding it to the team. And then within that team, I have several channels, remember? And I'm going to add this to the Webex Meetings demo channel. Okay, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just set up the messaging piece of it, all right? You don't really need to set up that part, and I'll show you again that in a second. As soon as I do this, you're going to see this. Now, if you're paying attention and if you are a Cisco Webex Meeting Center professional, you're going to ask the question in your mind, how in the world, where did it get this particular site URL? That is my site URL. That's my PMR right there. How did it know that? And this had me puzzled at first, but I want to unmuddy the waters for you and save you hours of investigation. Um, okay, just so you know what happened there is what happened is it added this little button here. Okay, so that's what we're seeing there. So what I want to do is go hunt this down. Why is that there and how did it get there? Let me go to the admin center. So I'm going to go to the WebEx site admin portal, okay, for this particular site domain. Okay, remember that site domain is the one that popped up here. Okay, and that is my PMR. That's my PMR. So what I want to do is point your attention to the site administrator. Let me bring this up full screen for you. I'm going to go to user management. I'm going to go to edit a user. And I want you to look at this right here. Remember, site URL has nothing to do with the users that I add their usernames or their emails or whatever, things like that. So this email right here, that's the magic that happened in the background. So if you look at it, that email, that is my login name to Microsoft Teams. That right there, that's my Microsoft Office 365 email address. That is my login username in Microsoft Teams and all the other Office 365 applications for this tenant that we're working with right here. So stick with me. If you're not this technical and just want to see how things work with this, go ahead and skip forward. For you technical folks, what happened here is when I published this bot has some intelligence in the background. And what it did is went out to grab my name. It knows that I added the bot. It grabbed my username, which in this, my username for my Teams is ansong@ansongarcia.net. And it grabbed my name from Microsoft and then went and looked inside the Cisco collaboration cloud, the Webex cloud, and looked in all the tenants, let's call them, or site URLs, we call them in the Cisco world, and look for that email address. It found it. And what it did is grab the site URL and input it into this team. Now, why would it do that first? Now, we haven't got to this yet. So there is some setup that you do with this Cisco Webex Meetings bot. Particularly, you have to set the site URL. Okay, so let me just go back and you'll kind of get what I'm talking about. If I go back here, the Webex bot, remember, started talking to me right away. Let's see what it said. And this is a one-to-one chat, so I'm not in my team channel anymore. If you can see what it said here, disregard this one. I've been ripping it out and putting it in, so this is the message that we're interested in right here. It says, based on your Webex site's team site for the demo team that I had over here, it's been automatically set. So inside my Microsoft Teams, my Webex site URL has been set automatically. Okay, and remember I told you how it got set. It went and looked for my name. Why did it have to do this? The reason it has to do this is they're trying to automate some things. Namely, what they're trying to automate is when I'm in a team channel, and if I click this button, I want it to go fetch my PMR automatically based on my Microsoft username, my 365 username. Okay, and that's how it did that. Okay, hopefully you get that. In addition to that, if I'm chatting with the bot anywhere in this team, if I do it at Cisco, now see I can chat, I can call upon this bot, and I hit enter here. I'm going to get some options. These are called my bot menu options. Okay, so this bot's telling me, I mentioned this bot, it's telling me these are the things you can do. Well, look at this one right here. I can set the site URL. Okay, why would I want to do that? Because I want it automated. I want to be able to click this button. I want that button just to grab my Microsoft username, which is an email address, and I want it to go search this site and get my PMR information. And not only do I want it to do that, but I want it to find it and put it right here so I can click on it, and voila, this rich text. Remember, it talked about that rich content, pasting this rich content into messaging, into the message body, or the conversation, I should say. And then I can click join here. Okay, I won't do that because this is meat and taters of WebEx. Hopefully you're watching this because you already know WebEx and you're trying to get a handle of what this Cisco Webex Teams bot, Cisco Webex meeting bot is all about as it pertains to Microsoft Teams. So I can click join there, and once I post that message, right, I can post that message, and I can go look. Let's go look at Lynn over here. So go to different PC right here, and we're going to go look. She's got a message in this. She's part of this channel. That's part of that team, and you can see that that post is there. So she can join that right there. This is what we want to do right there. So in other words, we can click join. Now, if you weren't logged in or didn't have a token or didn't have SSO into Cisco Webex Meeting Center, it would make you log in here. Okay, so just be aware of that. If you have SSO, it's going to do exactly as I did here. I don't have SSO on this particular WebEx site URL, but I was already logged in the background, and that's why it automatically brought it up because I already had a token. So that's it. I won't go any further than this because this is old hat for your WebEx users. Oh, in fact, we'll go ahead and do that just so you get the full experience, people that are not familiar with WebEx. And that's it. I'm in my meeting, and then other people that were in the channel, obviously, like Lynn here, she's in this channel, and she got that, and she can go ahead and join there, and that's going to bring WebEx up, and joining Anson Garcia's meeting. And there we are. It's wanting to call us back. We can use our computer audio. We can obviously use any dial-in number or call video systems or anything like that. Okay, so I won't do that for now, but that's the experience. And you can see just real quick, I want to make you understand that Lynn's PC here, she was in the web app. Okay, so she clicked on the join in the web app, and then that brought up WebEx meetings, right? Very intuitive there, in my opinion. Just click, you're going to go right into the meeting. And for Anson, it was very intuitive also. He was in Microsoft Teams. All he had to do is click this button and start his PMR, or click on that, and that was going to paste that rich text message in there with a join. He clicks join. So fairly intuitive here. That's it. I mean, you have your meeting. The workflow is pretty well established, or pretty easy, I should say. Let's go over to, I just want you to see the workflow and understand the workflow in a mobile device as well. So I'll go ahead and shut this meeting down. Okay, so now let's hop over to an iOS device, a mobile device, and see what benefit is the Cisco Webex meeting bot inside Teams application on a mobile device. So let's go into Teams here. I'm going to go into Microsoft Teams. I'm going to go into, you can see here, I'm already in it, but I will show you. I'm going to go into my Webex Meetings demo channel as part of my Anson Lab demo team. Okay, that's the channel we added the bot to. So let's go right in here. And I already have some text in there in my conversation. Can we have a meeting? And, I can type some things here and whatever and do that. But what I want to do is I want to start my WebEx meeting using my bot here, because I want to display, I need everyone to be able to see the join button and them to join. So I'm going to @mention, and it already gives me a list, so I can start typing in Cisco. It already gives me a list of who I can @mention, and Cisco Webex Meetings is there, so I could just I can hit enter here. I can just click on the Cisco Webex meetings, and you see that's in there. So I mention this, and that's all I have to do. It's going to know if I just, post that message in the conversation window. It's going to know what I want to do, and what it does is grab that rich text messaging again, post my Webex meetings PMR right inside the conversation, and then just so we can see, I'm going to go back over here, and you can see, well, I'll go to Lynn just so we see another user, and there it is. See, I put a couple of things in there, and then there it is right there. So she would just click that, and then let's go back to my iOS device. What would I do? All I need to do is click join here. So I don't really need to go out to my Webex app. Obviously, I'm going to need to have that Webex app installed on my iOS device, but that's going to cross-launch my Webex app on my iOS device or my mobile device. And important to note here that I already had my Webex app here, and I already had my credentials, in there as well. So there's my meeting. My meeting is started on my iOS device, and then obviously over here, Lynn, I wouldn't be at my PC, so we wouldn't start there. And then Lynn can go ahead and join since she's part of that channel. You can see that meeting's already in process, and she can go right into that meeting. Okay, and we'll go back to the iOS device, and you can see that Lynn has joined as well. I'll go ahead and tear that down, leave meeting there. Okay, just some additional info. This is not going to work everywhere. Just because I turned it up for this team in this channel, I'm not going to be able to go into another team and another channel, let's say over here. And you see I still have that here, that button, but if I click that button, okay, it didn't find, it doesn't, my PMR isn't there. And that is because every team, every channel, I should say, needs to have the site URL posted. It needs to be there. Now, that doesn't mean I can't use the bot. Obviously, I could put my, if I had this room ID, I could do something like that and throw that room ID in here. That should pick up. My room ID is the same as my PMR. It's just different. You see here. And then I can go ahead and click that. And that's going to, go in there as well. Okay. So now that we've kind of wrapped up how all that works, here's a question for the inner sphere out there. And I know there's a lot of smart people that, a lot smarter than me, that look at these videos. If you do see this video and you're a DevOps guy, kind of post below, subscribe first, post below, because here's the question. The question would be, this is a pretty neat tool, but let's say you're an organization that has a 10,000 users, 20,000 users of Microsoft Teams, and you also have the wonderfully made Webex meetings, which you use as well. And you wanted to use something like this to ease the burden of people joining meetings, and you weren't interested in using the Microsoft Teams meeting experience because your users are used to the Webex meetings experience. And I think the kind of golden egg here would be, is there a development tool? I couldn't find any Googling around, or something you could do to deploy this to any channel made by your users. In other words, if you had all your users that were matched up in if you had all your users matched up in Webex Teams and all their email addresses that would correlate to your Microsoft Teams usernames, if you had those usernames and email addresses correlated, is there a way you could add the Webex team bot automatically to every team and every channel that was created within your tenant in your Microsoft, in your 365 tenant under Teams? So that in itself would be very helpful, and I think you could do then mass deployment and make this thing very easy and not put the burden on each user to add this bot. Um, Although that's not a bad idea either. I mean, if you get emailed instructions and things like that, but definitely an easier way would be to deploy it automatically to every team in your organization and have it in every channel. And then whoever punched the button, right, it's going to go look up their PMR, like here. This one's configured already. It would go look up their PMR and say, oh, yep, just click here and launch that, put that in the conversation window and start your meeting. Anyway, I hope this has been informative for you, and thank you guys for watching.